How do you deal with disrespect? At some point in life, we all face it. It could come from a stranger, a coworker, a friend, or even a family member. It might be a harsh word, a dismissive tone, or a deliberate attempt to undermine you. When it happens, it's easy to feel angry, hurt, or even powerless. But what if you could turn disrespect into an advantage? What if instead of reacting emotionally, you could use it to become stronger, more composed, and in complete control of yourself? There is an ancient philosophy that teaches exactly that. Stoicism, a way of thinking developed over 2,000 years ago, provides powerful tools to help us navigate life's challenges. It shows us how to remain calm in the face of adversity, how to control our reactions, and how to transform obstacles into opportunities. And when it comes to disrespect, Stoicism offers a completely different way of looking at the situation, one that gives you the upper hand every time. The first thing you must understand is that disrespect only has power if you let it. The words and actions of others do not define you. Your worth is not determined by someone else's opinion. When someone disrespects you, they are revealing more about themselves than about you. Their words are a reflection of their own frustrations, insecurities, or ignorance. When you recognize this, you instantly shift the balance of power. You stop being a victim of their words and instead become an observer. Imagine someone throws a small rock into a vast ocean. Does the ocean get disturbed? For a brief moment, there may be ripples, but soon the water returns to its natural state. Be like the ocean. Do not let small disturbances shake you. When someone disrespects you, remind yourself that their words are like that small rock, insignificant in the grand scheme of your life. This does not mean you should ignore all forms of disrespect. There are moments when you must stand up for yourself, but the key is to do so with wisdom, not emotion. Many people believe that responding aggressively to disrespect is a sign of strength, but true strength lies in maintaining composure. When you stay calm in the face of an insult, you demonstrate to yourself and others that you are in control. You are not ruled by emotions. You are not at the mercy of someone else's negativity. Take a deep breath. Pause before responding. Do not react immediately. A reaction is often driven by impulse, by emotion rather than reason. But a response, a carefully chosen response, is an act of power. It allows you to dictate the course of the interaction rather than being controlled by it. Now ask yourself, does this disrespect really matter? Will it change your life in any meaningful way? Will it prevent you from achieving your goals, from being the person you want to be? Most of the time, the answer is no. Many of the things that upset us are only as powerful as we allow them to be. If a stranger insults you, does it truly affect your life? If a coworker makes a rude comment, does it diminish your skills or potential? Often the problem is not the insult itself, but our interpretation of it. We take it personally, we let it linger in our minds, and we give it more importance than it deserves. But what if instead of holding on to it, you could simply let it go? Think about the last time someone disrespected you. Maybe it happened yesterday, or maybe weeks ago. Does it still affect you now? If not, then why did it affect you in the moment? Why allow something temporary to create unnecessary stress? Learning to let go is a powerful skill, one that Stoicism teaches us well. Consider this. If a child insults you, do you get offended? Probably not. You recognize that they do not fully understand what they are saying. You dismiss their words as unimportant. Now apply this same logic to the disrespect of adults. Many times, People act out of ignorance, frustration, or their own personal struggles. Just as you would not let a child's words ruin your day, why let the words of an angry or insecure person do so? By shifting your perspective, you regain control. Instead of seeing disrespect as an attack, see it as a challenge. Every difficult situation is an opportunity to practice patience, to strengthen your self-discipline, to prove to yourself that you are not easily shaken. Imagine that every insult, every rude remark, every attempt to undermine you is a weight in a mental gym. The more you lift, the stronger you become. Instead of feeling weaker, you become more resilient. But does this mean you should never speak up? Not at all. There are times when addressing disrespect is necessary. The key is to do it with intelligence, not emotion. A well-placed, calm response is far more powerful than an outburst. Picture two people arguing. One is yelling, losing control, while the other remains calm, composed, and unshaken. Who appears stronger? Who truly holds the power in that moment? Strength is not in volume. It is in presence. This is what Stoicism teaches us, the ability to control what is within your power and release what is not. You cannot control how others behave, but you can control how you respond. You cannot stop people from being rude, but you can decide whether or not to let it affect you. This is real freedom, not being ruled by the actions of others, but by your own decisions. And then there is the most difficult lesson, empathy. It may seem counterintuitive, but one of the most effective ways to deal with disrespect is to understand where it comes from. People who hurt others are often hurting themselves. A person who feels secure, fulfilled, and at peace has no need to bring others down. When someone disrespects you, they are revealing their own struggle, their own pain, their own limitations. Understanding this does not mean excusing bad behavior, but it allows you to rise above it. Imagine someone insults you, and instead of getting angry, you think, "This person must be going through something to act this way." Immediately, you detach from the negativity. You no longer feel the need to react emotionally. You move forward, unaffected. This is not weakness, this is power. Forgiveness, too, plays a role. Not for their sake, but for yours. Holding on to resentment is like carrying a heavy weight on your back. It does not harm the other person. It only slows you down. Letting go does not mean allowing people to walk over you. It means refusing to let their negativity take space in your mind. It means choosing peace over prolonged anger. But how do you truly let go? It's easy to say, don't hold on to resentment. But in practice, emotions can be overwhelming. Someone disrespects you, and their words echo in your mind for days. You replay the moment, thinking about what you should have said, how unfair it was, how they got away with it. This is the trap. The more you feed the thought, the stronger it grows. Letting go does not happen passively. It is an active process, a decision you make again and again until it becomes second nature. One of the most powerful ways to release resentment is through perspective. Imagine yourself 5 years from now, looking back on this moment. Will it still matter? Most of the things that upset us seem enormous in the moment, but shrink over time. A year from now, will you still care about that rude comment, that moment of disrespect? Likely not. So why give it so much power now? The sooner you recognize that most conflicts are temporary, the easier it is to move on. Another technique is gratitude. It may seem strange. How can gratitude help you deal with disrespect? But when you focus on what truly matters in your life, the negativity of others loses its grip. If someone insults you, does it take away your health, your intelligence, your ability to grow? Of course not. Instead of dwelling on the words of small-minded people, shift your attention to what makes your life meaningful. Gratitude is a shield. It protects you from unnecessary suffering. Think of the great minds throughout history. Did they let the words of critics stop them? Did they allow disrespect to define them? Number. They understood that their energy was too valuable to waste on petty conflicts. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and a Roman emperor, faced endless criticism. People plotted against him, insulted him, spread lies. But he remained focused on his duty, his principles, and his growth. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the essence of inner peace. But what if the disrespect comes from someone close to you? A friend, a family member, someone whose opinion you actually value. This can be the most painful form of disrespect because it comes from a place where you expect support. The key here is to separate emotion from fact. If someone you trust disrespects you, ask yourself, is this a reflection of me or of them? Sometimes people lash out because of their own issues, not because of anything you did. Recognizing this helps you detach emotionally. That said, repeated disrespect from close relationships is not something you should tolerate. Stoicism is not about being passive, it is about wisdom. If someone continuously disrespects you, it may be time to set boundaries. You do not have to engage in arguments or prove your worth to them. Simply step back. Protect your energy. Surround yourself with those who uplift you, not those who drain you. A person's true nature is revealed over time. Pay attention to patterns, not words. And what about situations where you must respond? Some people mistake Stoicism for silence, but silence is only powerful when chosen wisely. There are times when a direct response is necessary, but the way you deliver it makes all the difference. A weak response is driven by emotion, anger, frustration, or the need to prove yourself. A weak response is driven by emotion, anger, frustration, or the need to prove yourself. A strong response is driven by clarity, confidence, and control. Imagine someone insults you in a public setting. Your first instinct might be to retaliate, to match their energy. But what if instead you calmly ask, "Are you okay?" A simple question, yet powerful. It shifts the focus back onto them. It forces them to confront their behavior. People expect conflict when they attack. But when you remain calm, you disrupt the cycle. This is not weakness. It is psychological mastery. There's also great power in humor. When someone disrespects you, responding with a sense of humor can disarm them completely. If someone says, "You'll never succeed," you could simply smile and say, "Good thing I don't take predictions from amateurs." It is light, effortless, and completely in your control. Humor is a tool that lets you maintain your dignity while making it clear that their words have no effect on you. At its core, dealing with disrespect is about understanding control. You cannot control others, but you can control your mind. You can control your emotions. You can control your reactions. And when you master these, you master yourself. There is no greater strength. Think of the greatest warriors, leaders, and thinkers throughout history. The ones who truly held power were not the loudest, not the most aggressive, but the most composed. The ones who could stand in the face of insults and remain unshaken. That is real power. Not reacting, but choosing how to respond. Every moment of disrespect is an opportunity. It is a test of your discipline, your patience, and your wisdom. The more you practice, the stronger you become. Soon what once bothered you will feel insignificant. You will look at petty insults the way you look at the wind. It comes and goes, but it does not move you. This is the mindset of a true Stoic. This is the path to unshakable confidence. The next time someone disrespects you, do not see it as a problem. See it as training, a chance to prove to yourself that you are above it, that you control your own mind, that nothing outside of you has the power to break you. And when you reach that level of mastery, you will realize something incredible. People who once disrespected you will begin to respect you. Not because you fought back, not because you demanded it, but because true strength commands respect without needing to ask for it. That is the power of Stoicism. That is the power of mastering yourself. And once you realize that respect is commanded, not demanded, your entire approach to life shifts. You no longer seek validation from those who are blind to your value. You no longer waste time proving yourself to people who have already decided not to see your worth. Instead, you move forward, undeterred, focused on what truly matters. There is a kind of freedom that comes with this mindset. The freedom of not being controlled by others' opinions. The freedom of walking into any room, any situation, and knowing that no words, no insults, no disrespect can truly shake you. Imagine how much mental energy is wasted on overanalyzing interactions, replaying past conversations, or crafting imaginary comebacks. Now imagine what would happen if all that energy was redirected toward growth, self-improvement, and personal success. This is where true transformation begins. The moment you stop reacting, you start thinking clearly. When you stop allowing emotions to dictate your actions, you start making choices based on wisdom. And when you master your mind, you become unstoppable. One of the most fascinating aspects of this approach is that the people who once disrespected you will often change their behavior. They will sense that you are not easily shaken, that their words hold no weight against your composure. And this frustrates them. People who rely on intimidation, manipulation, or disrespect thrive on reaction. The moment you deny them that, you take away their power. Think about it. Have you ever seen a truly powerful, respected individual lose their temper over petty things? Have you ever seen someone who commands real influence waste time engaging with foolishness? They operate on a different level. They understand that their time, their energy, and their focus are too valuable to be scattered by meaningless conflict. This is not about suppressing emotions. It is about mastering them. There is a difference between feeling anger and being controlled by it. Anger itself is not the problem. It is what you do with it. Marcus Aurelius acknowledged anger but refused to let it dictate his actions. He reminded himself, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. When faced with disrespect, ask yourself, do you want to mirror the weakness of those who insult you? Or do you want to rise above it, to stand in your own power? There is an old saying, a lion does not concern itself with the opinion of sheep. This is not about arrogance. It is about understanding where your focus should be. A lion does not stop to respond to barking dogs. It moves forward, undistracted, focused on its own path. And so should you. But let's address something important. Some might ask, does this mean I should never defend myself? Should I just let people walk all over me? Absolutely not. Strength and silence are not the same thing. There are moments when you must stand your ground, when you must make it clear that you will not tolerate disrespect. The key is how you do it. A person ruled by emotion reacts impulsively, lashing out, losing control. A person ruled by wisdom responds with precision, confidence, and clarity. The strongest individuals do not engage in unnecessary battles, but when they do speak, they are impossible to ignore. Their words carry weight because they are not thrown carelessly. They are measured, deliberate, and backed by unwavering confidence. And here's the secret. When you stop reacting emotionally, you gain the upper hand in any situation. Most people are predictable. They respond with anger when insulted, with insecurity when challenged. But when you remain calm, you confuse those who try to provoke you. You disrupt their expectations. You force them to reassess their approach. And in doing so, you shift the balance of power in your favor. There's also an art to choosing your battles. Not every slight, every insult, every act of disrespect requires a response. Some people are not worth your time. Some conflicts are not worth your energy. There is strength in knowing when to walk away. Because sometimes, the greatest show of power is refusing to engage at all. The world is full of noise, people arguing, debating, demanding to be heard. But true power often lies in silence, in the ability to observe without reacting, in the ability to control your emotions while others lose theirs, in the ability to stay focused while others are distracted. So the next time someone disrespects you, remember this: their words are only as powerful as the meaning you give them. Their actions only affect you if you allow them to. You are in control of your mind. And the moment you fully embrace that truth, you will experience a level of freedom and confidence that most people will never understand. Now here's something to consider. What happens when you apply this mindset to every aspect of your life? What happens when you stop reacting to negativity, not just from individuals, but from the world itself? What if you could move through life with the same unshakable confidence in all situations? The answer is simple. You become untouchable. You become the kind of person who cannot be manipulated by insults, cannot be swayed by fleeting emotions, cannot be controlled by external forces. You operate on your own terms. You dictate your own reality. You rise above the noise, and in doing so, you stand out. Because in a world where everyone is desperate for attention, the one who remains composed commands it effortlessly. This is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. This is what turns a person from a mere participant in life into a true master of their own existence. And the best part? This is not something you are born with. It is something you train. Every moment of disrespect, every challenge, every insult is an opportunity to practice, to sharpen your mind, to reinforce your strength, to solidify your unshakable nature. So the question is not whether you will face disrespect. It is how you will respond. Will you react like everyone else, or will you rise above? Will you waste energy on meaningless battles, or will you channel it toward your growth? Will you allow others to dictate your emotions, or will you take full control of your own mind? The choice is yours. And once you make that choice, once you commit to this path, you will discover a power within you that is greater than anything the outside world can throw at you. You will become the kind of person who moves through life with quiet confidence, unbothered, unstoppable, untouchable. This is the mindset of true strength. This is the path of those who refuse to be controlled by the opinions of others. This is the way forward. And when you fully embrace this mindset, something incredible happens. The world around you begins to change. Not because the world itself has changed, but because your perception of it has shifted. You no longer see obstacles as threats. You see them as tests. You no longer see negativity as an attack. You see it as an opportunity to sharpen your resolve. You no longer seek validation because you have already validated yourself. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem unshakable, who walk through life with a quiet confidence that demands respect. Do you think they got there by reacting emotionally to every insult, by getting pulled into every pointless debate, by allowing others to dictate their worth? No, they got there by mastering themselves first. And once you master yourself, the rest of the world follows suit. You begin to notice that people treat you differently, not because they have changed, but because you have. The energy you bring into a room shifts the way people interact with you. When you walk with confidence, when you carry yourself with self-assuredness, when you refuse to be drawn into meaningless drama, people sense it. They instinctively recognize that you are different, that you are not someone easily swayed, that you are not someone to be disrespected. And here's where it gets even more powerful. This shift doesn't just affect how others see you. It affects how you see yourself. Because every time you choose discipline over impulse, every time you choose focus over distraction, every time you choose composure over reaction, you are reinforcing a new identity. You are telling yourself, this is who I am now. This is the person I choose to be. And identity is everything. You don't just act differently, you become different. You no longer have to force confidence. It becomes your natural state. You no longer have to remind yourself to stay composed. It becomes second nature. You no longer have to pretend to be strong. You simply are. But understand this. None of this happens overnight. Mastery is a process. Strength is built over time. Confidence is earned through repeated action. There will be moments when you slip, when old habits resurface, when emotions try to take control. That's normal. The key is to recognize it and correct course immediately. Every challenge is a chance to practice. Every interaction is a test. And every test is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are in control. And once you reach this level of control, you will realize something truly profound. You no longer need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to convince others of your worth. You don't need to seek revenge against those who doubted you. You don't need to engage in battles that serve no purpose. You simply move forward, focused on your mission, undistracted by noise. This is the true meaning of power, not the kind of power that relies on force or intimidation or empty displays of dominance, but the kind of power that cannot be taken away, because it comes from within. And the irony of it all, the moment you stop chasing validation, the moment you stop reacting emotionally, the moment you stop allowing others to control your energy, that's when people start paying attention. That's when respect is given freely, because it is no longer something you are begging for. Now, imagine applying this principle to every area of your life. In your work, you no longer waste energy on petty office politics. You focus on results and let your excellence speak for itself. In your relationships, you no longer feel the need to seek approval. You show up as your authentic self, and those who resonate with your energy stay, while those who don't naturally fall away. In your personal growth, you no longer let setbacks define you. You use them as fuel to push yourself even further. The world respects those who respect themselves. The world follows those who lead themselves first. And the moment you fully embody this, you become unstoppable. Because at the end of the day, the real battle was never against others. It was always against yourself. Your fears, your doubts, your need for external validation. Conquer those, and nothing else can touch you. And so the question remains, will you continue reacting to the world around you? Or will you take control of your mind, your energy, your life? The choice has always been yours. And once you fully embrace this mindset, the way you move through life changes forever. You no longer get caught up in trivial matters. You stop wasting energy on things that do not contribute to your growth. You develop a laser-like focus on what truly matters. But this kind of transformation requires consistency. It is not enough to understand these principles intellectually. You must live them daily. You must embody them in every decision you make, in every challenge you face, in every reaction you choose not to give. Imagine waking up every morning with a clear sense of purpose. Instead of scrolling through your phone, checking for notifications, or seeing what the world wants from you, you start your day with intention. You take control of your thoughts before the world has a chance to influence them. You decide what energy you will bring into the day before anything external can dictate it. This is the difference between those who lead and those who follow. Those who lead do not allow their mood to be dictated by circumstances. They do not let the opinions of others determine their worth. They do not seek comfort at the expense of their growth. They embrace discomfort because they understand that growth is found in the struggle, in the challenge, in the discipline of choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term gratification. And here's where it gets even deeper. When you stop reacting emotionally to every little inconvenience, people begin to notice. They sense that you are different, that you are grounded, that you are not easily swayed. They start to see you as a leader, whether you intend to be one or not. Because true leadership is not about titles, positions, or external validation. It is about presence. It is about control. It is about knowing who you are and standing firm in that knowledge, regardless of what happens around you. And this is where most people struggle. They want to be respected, but they do not respect themselves. They want to be admired, but they do not live in a way that is admirable. They want confidence, but they do not build the discipline required to earn it. Confidence is not something you can fake. It is something that is developed through repeated action, through proving to yourself over and over again that you are capable, that you are strong, that you are in control. And it is in this control that you find real freedom. Because the moment you stop allowing external forces to dictate your emotions, you become untouchable. It does not matter what someone says about you. It does not matter what obstacles are placed in your path. It does not matter how difficult things become, because you have trained yourself to remain unmoved, to remain focused, to remain disciplined. Think of the greatest minds in history, the ones who left a lasting impact, the ones who built legacies that transcended their lifetimes. Do you think they wasted time arguing with people who doubted them? Do you think they allowed criticism to shake their confidence? Do you think they let temporary emotions dictate their decisions? Number. They stayed the course. They remained unwavering. They focused on their mission, and they refused to be distracted by things that did not serve them. And this is the mindset you must adopt if you want to achieve anything of significance, if you want to build a life that is truly yours, not one dictated by the expectations of others. If you want to wake up every day knowing that you are in control of your own destiny. But none of this happens by accident. It happens through conscious effort, through discipline, through the daily choice to stay focused, to stay composed, to stay committed to your own growth. And the best part, the more you practice this, the easier it becomes. The first time you choose not to react emotionally, it might feel difficult. But the second time, it gets easier. And the third time, even easier. Until one day, you realize that you no longer even feel the impulse to react. That negativity no longer affects you. That distractions no longer pull you away from your purpose. This is when you know you have reached a new level. A level where you no longer need external validation because you have built internal validation. A level where you no longer need to prove anything to anyone because your actions speak for themselves. A level where you move through life with a sense of certainty, not because you know what will happen, but because you know that no matter what happens, you will handle it. And this is what true confidence is. Not arrogance, not bravado, but the quiet, unshakable belief that no matter what challenges arise, you will face them with strength and composure. Now imagine applying this to every area of your life. Imagine what would happen if, instead of reacting emotionally to challenges at work, you approached them with a strategic mindset. If, instead of getting caught up in drama, you stayed focused on your goals. If, instead of allowing setbacks to discourage you, you used them as fuel to push forward even harder. The world respects those who respect themselves. The world follows those who lead themselves first. And the moment you fully embody this, you become unstoppable. Because at the end of the day, the real battle was never against others. It was always against yourself, your fears, your doubts, your need for external validation. Conquer those, and nothing else can touch you. And so, the question remains, will you continue reacting to the world around you? Or will you take control of your mind, your energy, your life? The choice has always been yours. And once you realize this truth, everything changes. You stop looking for excuses. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, because you understand that the perfect moment will never come. The only moment you have is now, and the only person responsible for your life is you. This is where most people struggle. They hear these words, they understand them on a surface level, but they fail to internalize them. They continue to let fear control them. They continue to let comfort seduce them. They continue to let distractions pull them away from their goals. And then they wonder why they feel unfulfilled, why they feel lost, why they feel like they are not making progress. The answer is simple. They are not fully committed. They still allow their emotions to dictate their actions. They still seek external validation instead of focusing on internal mastery. They still prioritize comfort over growth. And as long as they do this, they will remain stuck. Because growth is not comfortable. Mastery is not easy. Discipline is not something you wake up with. It is something you build through repeated action, through choosing what is difficult over what is easy, through proving to yourself that you are capable, over and over again. This is the essence of true power. Not power over others, but power over yourself. The ability to say no to temptations. The ability to stay focused when distractions arise. The ability to remain calm when everything around you is chaotic. This is the kind of power that makes people unstoppable. This is the kind of power that makes people respect you, not because you demand it, but because you embody it. And once you reach this level, something incredible happens. The things that used to bother you no longer have an effect on you. The fears that once held you back lose their grip. The doubts that once filled your mind are replaced with certainty. Because you have built a foundation so strong that nothing can shake it. But again, This does not happen by accident. It happens through repetition, through discipline, through the daily choice to be better, to think differently, to act with intention. Most people do not reach this level because they are unwilling to make sacrifices. They want success, but they do not want to let go of their distractions. They want confidence, but they do not want to put in the work to build it. They want a strong mindset, but they are unwilling to endure the discomfort that comes with developing it. And so they stay the same. They remain trapped in the cycle of emotional reactions, of seeking validation, of chasing things that do not truly matter. But you do not have to be like most people. You do not have to settle for a life of mediocrity. You have a choice. You always have. The question is, will you make the choice to step up, to take responsibility, to do what is difficult now so that your future self can live with freedom? Because every moment you waste, every distraction you entertain, every excuse you make, it all adds up. Time does not stop. The days pass whether you use them wisely or not. And one day, you will look back and realize that you either built something meaningful or wasted the opportunity. That you either took control of your life or let it slip through your fingers. The best time to start was years ago. The second best time is now. So what will you do with this moment? Will you allow yourself to be distracted once again? Will you continue making the same excuses? Will you keep allowing emotions to control you? Or will you rise above it? Will you take this knowledge and apply it? Will you start making the small, consistent changes that will lead to massive transformation? Because make no mistake, this is not about motivation. Motivation is temporary, it fades, it is unreliable. This is about discipline, about training your mind to do what must be done, whether you feel like it or not. The greatest achievers in history did not rely on motivation. They relied on habits, on routines, on consistency. They did not wake up every day feeling inspired. They woke up and did what needed to be done, regardless of how they felt. And that is why they succeeded. That is why they built things that lasted. That is why they stood out from the rest. You have the same potential. You have the same ability. The only thing standing in your way is your own mind, your own excuses, your own willingness to settle for less. Break free from that. Stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop doubting. Decide who you want to be and start acting like it. Because at the end of the day, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to do the work for you. Nobody is going to hand you discipline, confidence, or success. These things must be earned. They must be built. They must be forged in the fire of daily effort, daily struggle, daily commitment. And the sooner you accept this, the sooner you take action, the sooner everything changes. Not because the world changes, not because circumstances become easier, not because challenges disappear, but because you become stronger, you become unshakable, you become someone who does not wait for things to get better, but makes them better. And that is the difference between those who succeed and those who do not. Those who succeed take control. They take action. They refuse to be victims of their emotions, their doubts, their fears. And that is the path you must walk if you truly want to change your life. And once you embrace this mindset, everything changes. You stop seeing challenges as obstacles and start seeing them as opportunities. You stop fearing failure and start understanding that failure is just part of the process. You stop looking for shortcuts and start committing to the long game. Because here's the truth. There are no shortcuts. There is no magic formula. There is no secret that will suddenly make everything easy. The only way to become the person you want to be is to put in the work day after day with consistency and discipline. And this is where most people fail. They start with enthusiasm, but when things get difficult, they quit. When they don't see immediate results, they get discouraged. When they face setbacks, they lose motivation. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. Those who succeed keep going. They push through the discomfort. They show up even when they don't feel like it. They trust the process, even when they can't see the results yet. And this is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's persistence. It's the ability to keep going, to keep improving, to keep refining your skills, even when you feel like giving up. Because the truth is, success is not built on motivation. It's built on discipline. And discipline is built through habits, through small, consistent actions that compound over time. Think about it like this. Every choice you make is a vote for the person you are becoming. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're casting a vote for your future self. Every time you push through discomfort, you are reinforcing the mindset of resilience. Every time you refuse to make excuses, you are building the foundation for long-term success. And this applies to every area of your life: your health, your relationships, your career, your mindset. Everything is shaped by the small choices you make every single day. So ask yourself, are your choices leading you closer to the life you want? Or are they keeping you stuck in the same patterns? Because if you're not where you want to be right now, it's not because of bad luck. It's not because of circumstances. It's because of the choices you've made up until this point. And while that might be hard to hear, it's also incredibly empowering. Because it means that if you want a different future, all you have to do is start making different choices. You don't have to change everything overnight. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to start. Start small. Start where you are. Start with what you have. Because progress is not about making massive leaps. It's about taking consistent steps forward. It's about getting a little better every day. It's about stacking small wins until they turn into big results. And the best part, once you start seeing progress, even small progress, it creates momentum. And momentum is powerful. Momentum makes it easier to keep going. Momentum makes it easier to stay disciplined. Momentum makes it easier to push through challenges. But momentum only happens when you take action. And this is where so many people get stuck. They spend too much time thinking, planning, overanalyzing. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions. But the perfect moment does not exist. And waiting will only keep you stuck. So stop waiting, stop hesitating, stop making excuses. Take action. Start now. Even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect, even if you don't feel ready. Because here's another truth. You will never feel fully ready. Nobody ever does. The people who succeed are not the ones who waited until they felt ready. They are the ones who started before they were ready. They are the ones who took action despite the fear, despite the doubt, despite the uncertainty. And that is what you must do. Because life does not wait. Opportunities do not wait. Time does not wait. And one day, you will look back and realize that every excuse, every hesitation, every moment of doubt was just wasted time. Time you could have spent building something meaningful. Time you could have spent becoming the person you were meant to be. So decide, right now, that you will stop wasting time. Decide that you will commit to growth, that you will commit to discipline, that you will commit to taking action, even when it's hard, Because the life you want is not going to be handed to you. You have to create it. And the only way to create it is through action, through discipline, through the daily decision to be better than you were yesterday. So start now. Start small. Start where you are. But whatever you do, just start. And if you ever feel like quitting, remember this. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts a lifetime. Discipline is the foundation, but what reinforces it is purpose. Without a strong sense of why you're doing something, discipline fades. When you wake up tired, when the excitement wears off, when the setbacks pile up, if you don't have a deeper reason to keep going, you will stop. So what is your reason? What drives you? What is important enough to you that you're willing to endure discomfort, to push through obstacles, to show up even when it's hard? Most people never take the time to answer these questions. They drift through life, reacting to whatever comes their way, instead of moving with intention. They chase distractions instead of meaning. They look for quick pleasures instead of lasting fulfillment. Because most people never take the time to answer these questions, they drift through life reacting to whatever comes their way instead of moving with intention. They chase distractions instead of meaning. They look for quick pleasures instead of lasting fulfillment. But you are not most people. You are here, right now, because something inside you refuses to settle. Something inside you knows that you are capable of more. That you are not meant to live passively, waiting for things to change. That every day you waste is a day you will never get back. So from this moment on, let there be no more hesitation, no more excuses, no more waiting for the perfect time, because the perfect time does not exist. The only time you have is now, and what you do with it will determine the person you become. You will face challenges. You will struggle. There will be days when your motivation fades, when the weight of the world feels too heavy, when you will want to quit. But in those moments, remember this. Greatness is not built in comfort. Strength is not forged in ease. The fire that tests you is the same fire that shapes you. The path will be difficult, but it will be worth it. Because in the end, you will not be measured by how easy your life was, but by what you did with the time you were given. By how you chose to show up again and again, despite the odds. So keep going, keep pushing, keep choosing discipline over distraction, purpose over pleasure, action over excuses. The life you want is on the other side of consistency. And if this message resonated with you, if you are ready to commit to this path, then subscribe. Join a community of people who refuse to live passively, who refuse to let life happen to them, who are willing to do what it takes to become who they were meant to be. Your journey starts now.